everyone, welcome back to the Tune Project. So last week I taught you how to play the Star-Spangled Banner on the violin, and today I'll be showing you how to incorporate double stops into this melody. This video was also requested by Jessie, the same one who requested the last video, so thanks again so much Jessie for your request. And if you're interested in learning how to add double stops into the Star-Spangled Banner, then stay tuned. And as always, if you enjoy this video, you know what to do, give it a thumbs up below. And if you're not yet subscribed to the Tune Project, I post videos just like this one every week. So consider hitting that red subscribe button below, along with the notification bell so that you don't miss any future videos. So in my last video where I taught you guys the melody, I taught it in the key of D major, which makes it a little bit easier to navigate when including double stops. So if you are unfamiliar with this song in that key, then definitely check out that video so that you can understand how that works. But in today's video, what I'll be doing is walking you through phrase by phrase, assuming that you do already know the notes of this melody, and I'll just be showing you how to incorporate some of those double stops, which will mostly be open strings, so we'll have a lot of drones going on. So our first note of this melody is A, so we'll begin right off the bat with a double stop between the A string and the D string, and this is how that first phrase will sound. Alright, so the whole time during that first phrase, we're just leaving our bow between the A string and the D string. So while our left hand hops back and forth between the two strings for the melody, we're just going to keep that bow steady in between both the D string and the A string. Now for this next phrase, the first note is an F sharp on the E string. So for that, our drone string will be open A. And what I like to do to sort of play into that fiddly style that we're after is actually slide into the F sharp. So that's what I'll be doing here. That's optional, but we'll be using our A as our drone string as we slide into the F sharp. Alright, so a little bit more going on there as compared with the first phrase, but basically after playing those couple of notes on the E string with our A string as a drone, we come down to our melody string of A and we use the D string, open D, as our drone, and then when we have melody on the D string, we stop playing double stops for a couple of notes until we arrive on our fourth finger A, where we have that unison A. So we have that walk up with just the single string, and then the unison double stop to finish off that phrase. All right, so for this next phrase, we're gonna start on our single A string, so no double stop for these first couple of notes. Right, so we have a couple of double stops in there, again, just leaving our bow between the A string and E string, but we stop for a couple of notes before coming back into our double stop between our C sharp and open E. So again, that sounds like this. Alright, so no double stops on the A's, and then also no double stop on the D. Now this next phrase is a little bit easier. We're going to start on the A string. Our melody note is B, and the first few notes are B, C sharp, D, and we're not going to play any double stops on the B and C sharp, but then when we get to D, we'll have double stops for the rest of the phrase, and that sounds like this. Alright, so while our left hand goes down to the D string, the whole time we're keeping our bow between the A string and the D string. Alright, so now that we've gone through and broken down each of those phrases within that first section, because this section repeats, I'll go ahead and play what we have so far so that you can hear how all of these double stops work together. So those were the first couple couple of lines of the song. Hopefully you were able to listen along and understand how all of those double stops work together with the melody. Now moving on into the next section of the song where our melody starts on F sharp on the E string. We're going to be right off the bat playing a double stop between the E string and A string. And there's an optional slide here if you'd like to slide into that F sharp. Alright, so the whole time we're just leaving our bow between the A string and E string. Pretty simple for that one. Now for this next phrase, it gets a tiny bit more complicated. We're going to be sort of interspersing the double stops instead of playing them on every note. So this is how this next phrase will sound. Alright, so no double stops on those first two notes are G to F sharp. And then we have a double stop here between open A and E. And then again, no double stops on F sharp to G. And then we end with a double stop between G on the E string and B on the A string. So this is our first real chord that we're actually playing here, where we have two different fingers on two different strings. And here is how the next phrase goes. So again, kind of selectively adding in those double stops. For the beginning, we are staying on that chord that we had between B and G. And then we have a quick change to our F sharp on the E string where we'll have a double stop between E and A. And then no double stops between our E and D. And then double stop here between our C sharp and E. Now for our next phrase where our melody starts on B on the A string, we're gonna have our double stop between the A string and D string. And then just as we saw in the opening section, we had a similar phrase where we did not play double stops on our F sharp and G sharp, and then we came into that unison A on the last note of that phrase. So we'll go ahead and play that as a double stop with our fourth finger and open A. For this next phrase, we'll go ahead and keep our bow between the A string and D string the whole time for double stops. Next, we're going to start off with our bow between the A string and E string, and then we're going to switch to single strings. Alright, so single strings up until that last note where we had a C sharp. We're going to add an open E along with that. And now for this next phrase, we'll only play double stops on the octaves. So our D and our A. Our D on the A string and our A on the E string. And for this last phrase, it's another fairly easy one. We'll have double stops throughout the whole phrase. So we'll have our bow between the A string and D string to start, and then we'll hop up to the A string and E string. Right, and then back down to A and D for our last note with that octave. Well, that was all of the Star-Spangled Banner with double stops. I really hope you enjoyed learning how to incorporate double stops into that one and make it a little bit more fiddly. Thanks again so much to Jessie for this awesome request. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Happy practicing. If you've made it this far, you must have enjoyed the video, so why not check out this one next? Also, if you'd like exclusive content from the Tune Project and a more personalized experience, head over to Patreon and join our wonderful little fiddle community. Your support helps me to continue to grow as a creator and ensures that I'm able to continue to provide free educational content here on YouTube. Thank you!